What it do, YouTube? It's the OG Mr. Mont. Back at y'all with another video. Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. We all know that negotiations have been going on for quite some time now. We done had one failed negotiation, and from my understanding, they negotiating again. At least that's the rumor. Now, I've heard people ask in the past, is Errol Spence Jr. afraid of Terence Crawford? Is Terence Crawford afraid of Errol Spence Jr.? And you have people that say, ain't no boxer afraid of another boxer. It just ain't in their DNA. You know, I've heard that said many a time. Now, what do I think? Let's start off with Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. have always said that he's wanted to fight the best. And that's all he's ever shown us. He seems to be very, very competitive. He never seems like he's too concerned about getting beat. So, in his mind, you know, from what I can tell, you know, of course I'm not in his mind, but it seems like, you know, he don't believe anybody can beat him at the welterweight division. And he said many times that dude just can't beat me, referencing Terence Bud Crawford. But, you know, what I take from what I get out of Errol Spence Jr. is that he's not really worried about losing to Terence Crawford. And it seems like, you know, the way he thinks that, you know, Terence Bud Crawford can't beat him anyway, but he also, it's almost like he seems like if Terence Bud Crawford can beat him, then let's make the fight so he can go ahead and do it. Now, Terence Bud Crawford, we all know from what we've seen, videos, some of the stuff he said, is very, 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 very competitive. From my understanding, ping pong and to anything that he does, you know, and I've heard several people who said this guy don't like to lose at anything. But does that mean he's afraid to lose? Does that mean he's afraid somebody can beat him? When you're that competitive, you're not one to concede to defeat that easy. Am I saying that Terence Bud Crawford is afraid of Errol Spence Jr.? Nah, I don't think he's afraid of Errol Spence Jr. at all. But I do believe that he's telling himself that this guy could possibly beat me. And as competitive as he is, you know, you just have to question how would Terence Bud Crawford, somebody as competitive as he is, how would he handle if he did lose? Would he be humbled by the loss? I mean, I don't know. He doesn't come off as the type of guy that would be humbled in defeat. He seems like the type of guy that if he did lose, especially if the fight is close, like say he lose on the scorecards by a split decision or majority decision or something like that, he wouldn't take it well. He seems like the type that'll get on the microphone and say, I won that fight. You didn't beat me. You know you didn't beat me. And that's the way Terence Bud Crawford comes off to me. Now, I could be wrong. Bud might, if he were to lose to Errol Spence Jr., he might, I don't know. He might be like, okay, you the better man, you won. But there's so many things that point in the direction that, hell, Bud wouldn't be that way. He comes off as somebody who's spiteful. At times it seems like Bud messed up the negotiations to that fight, or leading into the negotiations of that fight made it seem that that he just don't he just don't want Errol Spence Jr. to be undisputed like he was. He thinks that him being undisputed at 140 is what he has over Errol Spence Jr. And he wants to keep it that way. And if there's any chance that Errol Spence Jr. can become undisputed and level up in that aspect, then, it seems like Terence Bud Crawford wouldn't really want that. Errol Spence Jr. is already the more popular fighter. Definitely have the bigger fan base. And at times it seems like that bothers Terence Bud Crawford. And, on many occasions he said, fight's not going to happen. Errol Spence Jr. has never said the fight wasn't going to happen. He's always said that the fight can happen. We can make the fight happen, but Terence Bud Crawford done said on many occasions that the fight wasn't going to happen. So, I don't think, like I said, I don't think Terence Bud Crawford is afraid of Errol Spence Jr., as a fighter, but I just think that as competitive as Terence Bud Crawford is, I think that he's afraid that he wouldn't be able to deal with a loss mentally. And, that's just how he comes off. He, like I said, very, very competitive. So he really not used to losing. And, I just think that that's the way he is. He wouldn't be able to deal with a loss to Errol Spence Jr. or anyone else for that matter, but definitely Errol Spence Jr. And again, not saying that he's afraid of Errol Spence Jr., but I just think Terence Bud Crawford would be afraid of losing to anyone. He just doesn't have that type of personality where he'd be humbled by a loss. But you guys tell me what you think, because that's all I got. It's the OG Mr. Mont. Salute to the mighty LDBC, and I'm out.